Y'all thought y'all was slick. Thought I wouldn't catch you. But I did. Over the past month, I've been getting nothing but social media DMs. Comments on the videos. Marcus. When are you going to watch Operation Overdrive? And I will always tell you guys, I haven't seen it yet. I never really watched it when I was 11 years old. How is it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it great? And people would never tell me. Because y'all wanted me to get mad. Y'all wanted me to be pissed. And I'm here to tell y'all, Operation Overdrive is foul. It is a foul season from beginning to end. There's so much crap in here that'll make you aggravated. I keep telling y'all the videos are going to be shorter. Man, I'm lying. We getting ready to be here for a while, y'all. This season sucks, man.
Good versus evil, we got heroes on the scene. Power Rangers Overdrive is the #1 team. Power Rangers. Operation Overdrive. Power Rangers. Operation Overdrive.
Throughout all 15 Power Ranger seasons I've reviewed ever since late last year, I can say without a doubt, only 2 have made me extremely pissed off. I'm sitting there watching these and I'm like, how much worse can it get? Turbo and Wild Force are atrocious. I don't care what you say. I can't stand those seasons. And now I'm watching Operation Overdrive and I'm like, hey, y'all gonna have to move over and make some room. Y'all got a roommate coming in. It's very weird to understand that Operation Overdrive came out in 2007. From 2006 till about 2009 was a really weird part of the Power Rangers history. It was odd, and I can see why the ratings started to dip. This season is foul, y'all. All right, get ready to be blown away by this amazing plot. Yeah, this plot's really amazing. Many years ago, you had 2 brothers, Flurious and Moltor, who were trying to steal the crown jewel called the Corona Aurora. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? Yes, the jewel is called the Corona Aurora. Anyway, in their attempt to steal the crown jewel, they get imprisoned. Years later, you have a world-renowned researcher and adventurer, archaeologist, Indiana Jones type dude, Andrew Hartford, that is coming across the crown jewel. In his attempt to take it and discover it, he winds up awakening ancient evil. He then has to assemble a team of 4 Power Rangers who are going to go out all across the world and look for the 5 stones of the crown jewel of the Corona Aurora. Damn! Alright, y'all. So, as I'm watching the first episode, you see this guy who's in a plane. And you can very quickly guess that he's probably going to be our Red Ranger in some type of a way. And a guy takes a relic from him and he jumps out the plane. And the Red Ranger dude jumps after him. If you're a little kid watching that, your mind is blown. Oh my God, this is like the best season of Power Rangers ever. Because you're seeing this courageousness, this recklessness of diving into the sky with no parachute. This ain't the Mighty Morphin movie where they got, little jump chutes on for protection. No, this is Operation Overdrive, Indiana Jones. Let's get into it. After you see that he was having a dream sequence, right? You can very quickly see this individual is living a wealthy life. Butler, mansion, grass cut, and he laying in a hammock. That's rich shit. Broke people can't lay in hammocks because you'll get robbed. Anyway, after your introduction to Mac, who's going to be our future Red Ranger, you then see his father, Andrew Hartford, who is grabbing the crown jewel, the Corona Arona. I can't say that shit with a straight face, man. And after he takes it, like I said earlier, he awakens the ancient evil. And now it's like, oh, damn, I need to assemble a team of people that can go out here and help me get these jewels. Originally, Andrew Hartford was going to be the Red Ranger. When he goes out and recruits the other 4 Rangers to formulate the team, their assets and their abilities don't really make sense for them to be a part of a world research team, a team of discovery and finding new shit. Why are these people summoned to be a part of the team? It makes no sense. It's a very odd choice. After they get their introduction into what he wants them to do and why he picked them, they have this aloof look on their faces like, I don't want to be here. Fuck this shit. And the show tries to convince you that these people are teenagers. The minute I watched this at 11 years old, I knew very quickly these are adults. These are not teens. You have Ronnie, that is a race car driver, right? You have Dax, the Blue Ranger, who is a film stuntman. Rose, the Pink Ranger, is very good with machinery and history. She's highly intelligent. And you have the Black Ranger, Will, who steals shit. We're going to talk about him later on. Very quickly, as you're introduced to these characters, you can see that they're all playing a type. Every actor on set is playing a particular profile description of a character. And because the plot of the story is about going to go find 5 jewels that are scattered all over the planet, you don't have an opportunity to get to know these people personally early on. So nobody really develops a connection to the audience. These are just people running around. You don't care about any of these individuals. And they tried like hell to make you care about their powers or their interests. It was so rushed, nobody cared. And even deeper into the team, the next thing I wanted to talk about was the overall team dynamic. Every single season of Power Rangers always gives you a team dynamic that's interesting, that pulls you in. Turbo, what pulled you into the second cast was they're all new to this, except for Justin. So there's a lot of wonder and a sense of freshness to that team.
We welcome them now into the Power Ranger family.
Dino Thunder, they were all polar opposites, right? And that pulled you into that season. Nothing about this team dynamic pulls you in. It's a bunch of random people from across the world that have no relation to each other. The dialogue doesn't do anything to connect somebody to someone else. It's just boring, and it really lacks of creativity. Look at their names. Mac, Dax, Ronnie, Rose, and Will. These names are atrocious. How you pick bad names? How you pick bad names, Disney? How you pick bad names? The names are so boring and lackluster. Speaking of boring and lackluster, y'all, the weapons they get this season are stupid. Now, let me clarify what I'm getting ready to say. In the first episode, they become Power Rangers by the end, and you see their weaponry. Whew. Will, the Black Ranger, has a hammer. I have no problem with his weaponry. It's the other people's weaponry that makes no fucking sense. The Blue Ranger Dax has the superhuman ability to jump really high, right? Okay. He has a leaf blower in his hand for his weapon. And when he's not blowing people away, guess what he does with his weapon? He shoots it on the ground to go in the air. Think about that. Think about that. He has the ability to already jump. Why does he need that? It's stupid. The Yellow Ranger, Ronnie, has superhuman speed. Y'all, her weapons are some fucking construction worker claws. Y'all know that big construction machine with the claw that goes down and scoops up shit? Those are her weapons.
Side claws! Can you ice cubes take this?
And when I tell you, they did nothing to make the weapon look interesting. Nothing. They literally gave us some claws and said, baby girl, do your thing. These are the worst weapons in Power Rangers history, and I'm not playing about that. Rose, the Pink Ranger, has the superhuman ability to turn invisible. These powers are all boring as hell, but okay. She has a mini vac. It looks like a mini vac. If you thought the weapons from Turbo looked stupid, because they do, these are way worse. The weapons are despicable. I'm going to be real here, y'all. I'm going to be extra freaking real, okay? For me as a Power Rangers fan, the first season that I was ever cognizant of what I was watching, where I really understood what I was watching, was Power Rangers Turbo. Particularly the later portion of Turbo. This was way back in like 1998 when I first saw it. And there was always a sense of pride. Ooh, that Ranger looks like me. There was always pride in that. From TJ being the first black leader, to Zach being the first black guy on the Power Rangers, Aisha being the first black female Ranger. There was pride in that. Y'all, I'm trading Will in. I don't care who takes him. I'm trading him in for a bag of chips. He can go. I don't care. Will is one of the most offensive and most stereotypical Rangers in the history of any show. He is awful. When you're first introduced to the character Will, who's going to be our Black Ranger, he's robbing and stealing. Stealing and robbing. That's his skill. Literally. He steals shit. That's your first introduction to the character. Yo, pat your pockets, player. Because I might steal from you. Literally. That's his first introduction. And then later on in the season, they tried to clean it up by calling him a international recovery specialist. Get the fuck out of here. He's stealing and robbing. Robbing and stealing. That's all he's doing. You might as well have Will come on screen and say, where the weed at? Where the Hennessy? He might as well say that. And taking it even a step further, let's be real. A lot of times, black characters in different forms of cinema are written one way or the other way. Either they're written to be like Finn from Star Wars, a unit. You got a dick and balls, but you won't be needing them dick and balls. Snip, snip. Or you're written to be Will Smith from Bad Boys, right? You touch a woman on the shoulder, her panties coming off, and your pants coming down. One or the other. Y'all, they wrote Will to be essentially a pimp, a player, a Mac Daddy. They wrote him to be Will Smith from Bad Boys. And it is some of the most cringiest nonsense that goes on with him. A woman will walk by and Will is sucking on his teeth, licking his lips. Real rapey. Real rapey. A little sore art online. And there's an episode later on in the season where he kind of somewhat betrays the Rangers or acts like he is. And when he does that, there's a female ninja that he kind of creates a fake bond with. She's a bad guy. And there's this cringy ass flirting that happens.
Do you take me for a fool?
Oh, contraire. You see, you're a woman out for her own gain. Nothing more powerful. And if I must say, more attractive than that.
Stop, I'm blushing.
It's just cringy as shit. Look, I'm not attacking the actor personally. I don't know him. He might be a cool dude. But oh shit, that character is awful. Even taking it a little bit further, he feels like an outcast during the season. Now some people will say, Marcus, that's because his dialogue said that he's used to working alone. Everything he did in his life was by himself. He's a loner, he steals shit, etc., etc. I get that. But he feels like an outcast in a lot of scenes, bruh. Like, there are so many moments where his character feels out of place. It's almost like beyond him stealing and Robin is stealing, he had no purpose. Disrespectful and awful character. Where the weed at? Where the Hennessy? Before we get too deep into the negatives of the season, let me throw you guys some positives. Because every season of Power Rangers has some positives, whether you want to admit it or not. When it comes to the theme of the season, a Power Rangers team that is about exploration, going all over the world to new areas. There is a lot you can do with that theme. And I understand why Disney wanted to adapt it. It sounds good. It sounds like something that can be enticing to not only young fans, but to me. When I first watched it, I was like, that's interesting. We're going to go to new places. And they did that. They went to places like Rio. They went to Mexico. They went to Egypt. They went to England. There were so many interesting locations they went to in the season. And even though Operation Overdrive, like most seasons of Power Rangers, had a very limited budget, they convincingly found a way to make those locations feel like that's really where they're at. But we know they're on set of a parking lot somewhere. But it felt real. It felt genuine when they would go to these places. I really enjoyed that aspect. On another positive, right? I really did enjoy the villains of Operation Overdrive. These villains are very basic and very one note. They want to get the jewels and control the universe. That's it. It's very basic. But if you can look past that, the fact that you have so many different groups of people that are trying to get the jewels throughout the season, it adds to the stakes. I really did enjoy the fact that Operation Overdrive took us out of that Monster of the Week format. We didn't deal with that every episode. Sometimes the Rangers would be trying to go to a new location to get a jewel and they'll run into Furious. Maybe a few episodes later, they'll run into Moltor. A few episodes later, they'll run into the Fear Cats. Or they'll run into the Ninjas. There were all these different enemy groups in the season that added to the stakes. You never really knew what one other villain group had planned for the other villain group. So when you have, let's say, the Fear Cats in the later portion of the season that get almost all the jewels and have this very intimidating presence, it adds to the season. Those episodes pulled me in. Lastly, on the positives, these are the best car-based costumes in the Power Rangers franchise. I repeat, these are the best car-based costumes in the Power Rangers universe. These costumes have a very easy design that is easy to understand. You don't feel like there's a whole bunch of crap being thrown at you, like with the RPM costumes. Those costumes are awful on RPM. If they could find a way to switch these Operation Overdrive costumes with the RPM costumes, boy, RPM would be an A++. Ooh! These costumes for the season were very Mighty Morphin-esque, where there wasn't a lot going on with the color scheme. It was very easy to understand, and I thought that blended well with the season. Except for Tyson, the Mercury Ranger. His costume is awful, okay? He looks like spoiled raisin bread. It's awful, okay? He's got like 5 different colors going down the middle.
Mercury Ranger!
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
And can anybody tell me why the fuck he's called the Mercury Ranger? Like, I thought we was dealing with cars and exploration. I mean, damn. If he's the Mercury Ranger, then where my Mars Ranger at? Where my Saturn? Where my Pluto? Shit. Where my Neptune? Shit. Goddamn. Where's my Sailor Moon Ranger at? Shit. Somebody called the Sailor Saturns. I mean, goddamn. Call him fucking Mercury Ranger. But his costume aside, I liked the Power Ranger costumes for this season. It's time for us to be honest, y'all. Be honest with me, I'm gonna be honest with you. Power Rangers ain't gonna never win no award for great scripts and dialogue. A lot of the seasons got dialogue that's it's Power Ranger dialogue. Except for Dino Thunder. That dialogue was really good. Or Time Force, you know. Script good, dialogue good. But for Operation Overdrive, the dialogue is so bad. It is so watered down and it is so neutered.
We got a crusty old map's a remote island in the Caribbean. We gotta be looking for pirate treasure. Yeah.
It's almost as if like they were trying to compensate because this team of Power Rangers, they're supposed to be teenagers. Come on now. Yeah, they're supposed to be teenagers, but it's like the writers had to compensate for choosing a cast that looks too old. A cast that looks like adults. So they're like, okay, we gotta give them some really R-matey, some really bad dialogue, really childish dialogue. And it's not just with the Rangers. It happens with them a lot. It's not just with them. It's also with other characters. There's this character that runs around that's a Yeti, right? He's the pet, the assistant to the Frozen dude, right? The Frozen dude. And he has so many cringy lines of dialogue. Man, listen to this shit.
I didn't like it here anyway. I was melting my icicles off. And I'm glad that Flurious broke your sled. I love sleds.
Yo, I ain't been this frustrated with lines of dialogue since Brooklyn Alpha from Power Rangers Turbo. I ain't been this frustrated with lines of dialogue since him. Every time this character pops up on screen, it's a nuisance. It's so annoying. I was this close to throwing something at my TV. Get the fuck off my screen! I was so annoyed with just his presence. He didn't even have to say shit. Just his presence. As I stated earlier, Operation Overdrive is so quickly pouncing on the idea of going after the 5 stones all over the world that you never really get deep character moments. At least early on. Y'all, when Operation Overdrive really cared about the characters, when they wanted to give you a reason to invest emotionally into a Ranger, they could do it. There are some episodes in the later portion of the season, notably with Tyson, who's the Mercury Ranger, and Rose, the Pink Ranger. There's things that they say in their episodes that give you that extra depth that you thought they didn't have.
When I was a little girl, I never felt special. No one ever told me I was. So I made a decision that I'd learn everything there ever was to know. Then I'd feel special.
Did you?
No.
But Operation Overdrive refused to do that for other Rangers. It was so nauseating. Speaking of nauseating, if we're going to keep on talking about things that pissed me off, look, I ain't trying to turn this into race talk with Marcus Digital. I ain't trying to do that shit, alright? But there was an episode later on where Dax, the Blue Ranger, is filming a scene on a movie set, right? He had his back turned to the camera. I kid y'all not. This motherfucker turned around and guess what you heard? Boom. That old Chinese sound.
And action!
I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I know they didn't just do that. I'm on the floor rolling. Like that in combination with Will is some of the most ridiculous stuff I've seen in Power Rangers. Absolutely ridiculous. Going deeper into the exploration aspect of the season, they're able to pull on different ideologies from different books and different parts of society. You had an episode that had Thor in it, Loki. There were just some episodes where I was like, ooh, you shouldn't have did that because you kind of fucked it up. I mean, god damn. I ain't been this embarrassed of seeing Loki since he was in Son of the Mask. There's some gags in here beyond that just didn't really sit well with me because of the execution. There's a character named Spencer who is the butler of Andrew Hartford. He kind of serves as the median between father and son. A lot of times when Andrew would kind of get mad at Mac for different things he does, the butler steps in as that voice, kind of giving Andrew a different perspective. And I thought his character was fine from there. But they tried to do some shit later on in the season where he would get involved in battles and ideas. He would constantly pull a mask off his face to reveal that, oh, I was really posing as this person. I was really posing as that person. And it's such a tired, corny, lame gag. Especially when he posed as Ronnie to trick Loki. I'm like, bruh, don't think I'm that fucking stupid. His body didn't look like that a second ago. Come on. You really think I'm that damn dumb? Like, come on. They treated the audience really stupid with some of those gags. Even the whole, I'm a Rasta man. I'm a Rasta. I'm watching this shit like, how much worse could it get? But it gets worse. As you guys may or may not have noticed, I ain't really talked much about the Red Ranger. I don't really talk much about him, right? But before we get to the Red Ranger, let's talk about the Morphing Sequence. The Morphing Sequence is pretty ordinary for Power Rangers. It took a step back from where Dino Thunder, SPD, and Mystic Force were hitting. Like, those morphing sequences were actually hitting towards launching the franchise to a different stratosphere in terms of morphing sequences. Operation Overdrive kind of brought it back to those Lightspeed, Lost Galaxy days. Very basic. But that aside, when they get their powers, their abilities early in the season. These jackets that they have are kind of binding with their DNA. So that gives them their abilities. And when they're getting ready to morph, they have to say overdrive, accelerate. And they swipe it down their arm. Dumbass morphing sequence, okay? It's stupid. But I originally thought that the reason why they rolled it down their arm was because the morpher had to bind with their DNA as a confirmation that, okay, this is Will. And then he turned it to the Black Ranger. That's what I thought. Until you start seeing episodes where they're rolling it down walls. They're rolling it down swords. They're rolling it against their ass. I'm like, bruh, I thought you had to roll it on yourself for the morphing sequence to happen. If you can't roll it on a blade, then that makes anybody capable of morphing into a ranger if they had that damn morpher. It was stupid. And it's like the writers forgot the reason why they established it and just said, fuck it. Plus, not to mention, they rarely use their powers later on in the season. There are episodes where they'll use their abilities and it's cool because they'll use them in tandem. But other episodes, they completely forget about it. They don't need these powers. Fuck them. Getting back to the Red Ranger. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, y'all. Getting back to the Red Ranger. Whew. I ain't really spoke much about Mac. We all know that Mac is the son of Andrew. And originally Andrew didn't want him to be a Power Ranger, trying to protect his son. And he really badly wanted to be a Ranger. He wanted to be more. That's the essence of his character. So as I'm watching these episodes, I'm like, okay, there has to be another element to his character, something that I don't see coming. I'm going to give y'all 5 seconds to guess what the surprise is with Mac. 5 seconds. I want you to think hard now. Real hard. Where the weed at? Where the Hennessy? Y'all, Mac is an android.
Am I? You're my son.
So, I think it's time you told him the truth.
Mac? You're an android. I created you.
That's right. I'm not making that up. He's an android. I'm sitting on my couch. Oh my God. I'm sitting on my couch like, what? It's like the writer said, man, we need a shocking reveal. Mac is an alien? Nah, that's too Superman. A robot. He's an android that his father made. There is no hint towards that the entire season. There is nothing in the plot or previous episodes that makes sense as to why he is an android. Like I said earlier, the jacket, the morpher, bonded with his DNA. He has no DNA. He's an android. Y'all made this man an android. Why? Why? Can somebody tell me why they made him an android? It makes no sense. If Andrew Hartford can make android Power Rangers, then why does he need to go recruit teenagers? Where are their parents at? Why is he recruiting teens to his mansion? Very Jeffrey Epstein of you, if you may. Some creepy shit, man. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. What does it get? What does it deserve? Power Rangers Operation Overdrive gets a mother freaking F. That's right. It gets an F. So, Wild Force, you're going to have to make a little bit of room. Alright? No, fuck it. Make a lot of room, because the whole season getting thrown in that motherfucker. The only good aspect, in my opinion, of Operation Overdrive is the Tyson arc, our Mercury Ranger, when he becomes human again. I didn't see it coming. I thought the back and forth with his old girlfriend, is she alive? Is she not alive? Is she alive? Not alive? Was dope. I loved his arc. The actor, I ain't really feeling the actor, but I thought his arc was dope. I liked Ronnie as a Yellow Ranger. You know, confident, cocky. Man, that's my shit. But this is a foul fucking season, man. Where the weed at? Where the Hennessy? It's just fucked up, man. Anyway, next week I'm going to be watching Power Rangers Jungle Fury. It's kind of odd because Jungle Fury has this cult-like following on the internet. But I swear to God, when Jungle Fury came on TV, a lot of people didn't watch it. But now it's kind of built up this nice fan base many years later. RJ from the season, right, is going to be on Battle for the Grid, which I guess is cool. You know, I'm going to be watching Jungle Fury this week. So, anyway, it's been weird, but it's been real. Where the weed at? Where the Hennessy? They made this man an international recovery specialist. You know what? Having him just steal shit is a little fucked up, right? They opened up their book of black stereotypes. Stealing Robin, Robin is stealing. Alright. Get out of here, bitch.
Yeah, I'm so fly, but you knew though. Like to mix it up, my different items like Menudo. Don't force a nigga, I'm the nigga strange like I'm Hugo. Your mama check a nigga, watch a rollie or a Hugh blow. Like it really matters, I came with 4 seasons. They think a lot about my cars, like my new Beamer. Your girl dipping in my seats, you should probably leave her. Nerd nigga with the glasses and the short season.